Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Dale of Dale's Leatherworks. In today's video, I've got a double feature for you. Today we're going to be talking about some whites boots as well as some JK boots. Both of these I'm selling for my friend Jen at Patina Miles. They're both going to be available discounted on my website, dalesleatherworks.com. They're both a size 7. Check those out if you're interested. These both come with their own exclusive set of kilties. These patterns are just atrocious, by the way, just kidding. These are both really nice kilties. So these are the white ones. This appears to be the same leather, the red Roughout leather. So starting out, these whites are the Red Dog Roughout lace to toe, known as the Cutter Centennial 350 LTT crepe sole. This is the whites C350-CS model. Once again, this is in Red Dog Roughout. It's a beautiful amber color Roughout leather. It's got stitch down construction, rebuildable, resolable. All right, so this is according to Baker's Shoes. Between the World Wars, timber cruisers started asking Otto White for a lighter, less cumbersome version of the tried and true White's logger. After expanding production, Otto decided to redesign the traditional uppers found on most work boots in the early 20th century. As a result, the 6-inch 350 was born. Since the 1930s, it's been a staple for outdoorsmen and sportsmen in the Pacific Northwest and around the world. Our stitch-down construction type offers a more secure fit and feel than a Goodyear welted boot, but takes much less time to manufacture than our true hand-sewn stitch downs. Still hand-lasted and hand-bottomed, the liner of our stitch down boots is glued down to the bottom of the insole. The vamp is turned out. The midsole and bottom are machine stitched together through the vamp. Removing the hand welting process shortens the production time significantly, allowing us to offer a rugged, comfortable boot without the high price of a truly hand-sewn boot. And Whites doesn't have much information on this model, but there's a Reddit post. I have my own opinions on Reddit. It's mostly a cesspool, but the boot reviews on Reddit are usually pretty good. Jeremy F. says, the leather laces have aged, the Vibram 2021 sand sole has worn down some, but the rest of the boot looks pretty dang similar to the day they arrived. I'm not gentle on these boots. I wear them almost all the time on weekends and once or twice during the week. I wear them in all conditions and have waded a few too many 4-inch puddles with them, and my feet have remained dry. I've not done anything but brush them. These have molded amazingly to my feet, the most comfortable shoes I own. I've taken them overseas 3 to 4 times, Iceland, Spain, etc. as my only shoes, and they have never disappointed. So yeah, that's pretty cool, and this has always been one of my favorite whites models. I mean, just look at it, it's just brilliant. I really love the patterning of the boot. It's plain toe. I love how the vamp stretches back to the middle and then meets the back heel stay kind of halfway through. An amazing pull tab on the back. It appears that the tongue is the same leather, just turned inside out. It might not be exactly the same because the tongue is actually more of an orange than an amber color. We've got rawhide laces, 9 standard antique brass eyelets all the way up. Whites, handmade in Spokane, Washington, embossed here on the upper shaft. Yeah, roll top collar, very nice. This is going to be on a Vibram Sahara wedge sole. Some of my favorite Truman boots are also built on this Vibram Sahara wedge. I really like it. I wore my Coach Ramblers to Hawaii, and that made for a really amazing hiking experience, especially when we went to Haleakala. I put them through, I think, 8 miles, 1,500 foot elevation change, all sharp red rocks, like walking on Mars. They got kind of scuffed down a little bit, but I love them so much. Easily one of my favorite pairs of boots. And then yeah, I don't know the source of this Red Dog Roughout, but it is super nice. I don't know what tannery made it. If I had to guess, I'd probably say Seidel, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, the stitch down construction is really nice. The finishing on this boot is a lot more flawless compared to my pair of whites, which are in Horween Olive Roughout. This one is not sloppily done at all. In fact, the stitch down construction, well, it's an interesting pattern for stitch down construction. So the stitch down welt on the front of the boot is double row, but then it it extends as a single row all around the rest of the perimeter back behind the back heel stay. Really cool. And again, these are size 7D. These come with some white Kilties. Pretty cool looking Kilties. However, I might be a little biased, but I think my Kilties are cooler. These are my jagged cognac shrunken Bison Kilties, available at dalesleatherworks.com. I've got a whole selection of Kilties there, so if you're interested, go check those out. So the smooth side of the Kiltie matches the smooth out side of the tongue and the roll top at the collar, and then the reverse side, the rough out side, matches pretty close to the Red Dog rough out here. Super nice. These will be available on my website. Jen has graciously reduced the price on them. You'll be getting a bit of a discount there as opposed to buying them new. These are obviously unworn, obviously in mint condition. Help us out. They're available at dalesleatherworks.com. All right, next I'm going to be talking about these boots. I thought these were also whites, but they are not whites. These are JK boots, and these also come with their own Kilties. This Kiltie kind of got cut off, but they included it anyways. Also interesting to see the reverse side. They skive down the edges here along the sides to, I guess, make them fit into the boot and be a little less bulky. But anyways, those will be included with the boots as well. Pretty nice. So these are the JK boots. So these are called the JK forefront boot in Bison Shadow. I also don't know where this Bison comes from. It does not look like Law tanning. It might be Seidel's. This is going to be a shrunken Bison. Really brilliant grain character on this Bison. And I could tell it's shrunken because I could stretch the Kilties. I could pull them, and they kind of stretch out and go back into place, like kind of like a spring. It's really cool. It's a really cool leather, and it's also got a couple slits cut in there for, you know, so that the Kiltie doesn't drift around. We've got a toothed bottom there, 2 holes for the laces. So these are 6-inch boots. The uppers are smooth 8-ounce premium oil tanned shrunken USA Bison leather. 8 ounce, wow, that's thick. The lowers are smooth 8-ounce premium oil tanned shrunken USA Bison leather. Oh, so I assume that they mean refer to this as the upper and this is the lower. Regardless, I know the whole thing, this whole upper portion, the whole leather portion of the boot as being the upper, so for simplicity's sake, I'll just refer to it as that. We've got high strength, National Fire Protective Association rated Technora fire resistant thread, resistant to over 900 degrees Fahrenheit. The hardware is traditional brass, high quality eyelets and speed hook combo. We've got a genuine oak tanned USA leather insole, a genuine oak tanned USA leather midsole. We've got leather arch support, 4014 white Christie wedge sole, and they also have the fire protective adhesives throughout the boot, and it's 100% handmade in the United States of America. So yeah, these boot models are similar. So we've got JK embossed here on the ankle. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 standard eyes, 3 speed hooks, really robust, good quality speed hooks that will not cinch down, followed by a standard eyelet at the top, stitched down construction double row, pretty much the same exact construction method as these whites here. Like I said, I thought these were the same. Now, there is a little bit of a wonky stitch fray here, but other than that, these are flawlessly done. And I can only imagine how difficult it must be to make a boot out of this shrunken leather, because it is sort of stretchy and spongy, but the toe is decently structured. Yeah, double row stitch down construction, and again, the single row extends the perimeter of the boot back behind the back heel stay. Pull tab here, Vibram Christie wedge outsole, and you can see the stitch down stitches coming through. You don't get that on the whites. On the whites you don't see it, so that must have been hard to stitch through this thing. I can only imagine how difficult that must have been. The patterns are pretty similar, but they're actually not. And this is one thing that always confuses me when I'm looking at boots like this, is when you set them side by side, they both look like standard plain toe boots. They kind of look like the same thing, but the patterning is quite different. As you can see on the whites, this is a lace to toe model. The laces come further closer to the front of the toe, whereas on the JKs, the forefront in Bison Shadow, the laces are a bit more recessed from the toe, and so that's one. Two is, look at the quarter area here. The patterning here is pretty different. So both are triple stitched down along this area, but as you can see on the whites, the vamp sort of, this piece sort of slopes up, kind of like a wave, whereas on the JKs, it just is a standard service boot sort of style. It just slopes down. So this one slopes up and then meets the back heel stay, whereas this one slopes down, stops, the back heel stay, you've got a little bit of overlap, but as you can see here, these are my Willys Logger boots, and they have a similar pattern. It's a lace to toe, similar pattern to these whites. It's a lace to toe. It's got this sort of wave feature that goes up and comes down and then meets the back heel stay there. And then also you can see how the laces come closer to the toe compared to the JKs. So on the whites here, you can see how this panel that swoops up, it actually overlaps this quarter panel. So this panel sits atop this quarter panel, and then this back stay sits atop the quarter panel as well, and then the back stay overlaps on the front panel right here. So conversely, if you compare the JK, this quarter panel actually overlaps the front panel. So you see this panel, it sits on top of this panel here, and you see it where you can just see it overlaying right here. And then also the back heel stay intersects here and overlaps on top of the quarter panel. So that's one key difference. The front panels are not in the same overlapping position in relation to the quarter. I hope I've explained that well. So again, on the whites, the front panel overlaps the quarter, whereas on the JKs, the quarter overlaps the front panel. I hope I didn't confuse anybody. As a boot noob, I would probably be sort of confused in knowing the difference, and I still have a hard time explaining it, but you can kind of see it here visually represented. The back pull tabs are actually identical. There's a lot of overlap between these two patterns, but yeah, the back heel stay triple stitched on both, and then we've got this back pull tab, and it's also triple stitched in the same sort of box pattern, the same sort of angled box pattern. Another big difference between the two is on the JKs, we do not have a roll top at the collar. Neither tongue is gusseted. Well, they're partially gusseted. Yeah, partially gusseted. The gusset ends at about the third eyelet on both. So again, very, very similar patterns here. Like I said, I thought they were both from the same maker. They might as well be. Yeah, the unfinished edge at the collar here is pretty thick. I mean, it is chunky, man. Wow, that is some thick leather. Let's see if I could get a gauge on that. Yeah, sure enough, it doesn't feel like 9 ounces, but it's 9 ounces. That is some thick stuff. All right, so anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. What are your thoughts on these JK/Whites boots? I think they're pretty incredible. Both super well made, both made in America. Both are for sale on my website, dalesleatherworks.com. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let's keep the love of boots alive. I'll see y'all in my next video.